I'm Kathleen Sullivan.
And I'm Harry Smith. Tomorrow, Assignment Gorbachev continues with coverage from New York.
And also from Cuba, where Castro's to meet the Soviet leader on CBS this morning.
Saturday, it's the Eagles against the Cardinals. Two teams whose playoff hopes can't afford a mistake. Saturday on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.
In the news tonight, police say the man came looking for his ex-girlfriend. Before he left the daycare center, he shot 2 women, one of them fatally, while children watched. The secretary says the summit on the Hudson is not the end of the Cold War, but it may be close. And Nolan Ryan leaves the Astros bound for that other Texas baseball team. These are just some of the stories coming up next on 11 News at 10.
Sears demonstrates the trouble with cordless phones.
Too many of them sound like this. But AT&T's new generation of cordless phones sound like this, with clarity that rivals AT&T's corded phones.
And just in time for Christmas, Sears has the AT&T cordless 5310 on sale for just $179.99. Save $20.
So you can buy a cordless phone that sounds like this, or an AT&T cordless that sounds like this.
Sears, your money's worth and a whole lot more.
2.5 miles off Florida, 104 feet down, is a unique housing development. In an area once virtually empty of life, families now live and prosper. These coral-covered cylinders were once gas station storage tanks, sandblasted clean to form environmentally approved artificial reefs. Algae forms, fish gather, and a food chain begins. Do people really do all that so fish can have a population explosion? People do.
I've been away so long, but no matter where I've gone, I'm never away for the holidays. I'm bringing Christmas home.
This Christmas, bring home this Casio keyboard for the musician in your family. Just $139.99 from Target.
Target, bringing Christmas home.
The spirit of Texas on
And now, from KHOU TV in Houston, this is Channel 11 News at 10. With Steve Smith, Marlene McClinton, Dr. Neil Frank with the weather, and Gip Nielsen on sports.
And good evening, I'm Sylvan Rodriguez. Steve and Marlene are off tonight. Gunfire broke out this evening at a daycare center in League City. No children were hurt, but 1 woman is dead, another is seriously wounded. It happened about 5:30 at Little Tykes Daycare Center. Police say a man shot 1 employee when she asked him to leave. Then he went outside, and there he shot another woman.
The suspect was looking for a person in the business and evidently didn't find that person, and it's unknown at this time why, but he shot the second person outside.
Charlotte Marcus died later at Humana Hospital in Clear Lake. Her mother-in-law, Joyce Marcus, is in serious condition at Galveston's John Seeley Hospital. The man fled in a gray and blue Isuzu pickup. Police say they hope to arrest and charge him with murder tonight. About 10 children witnessed the shootings while waiting for their rides home. Lene Dean is home tonight, exhausted and upset, according to her family, after being held captive by an escaped prisoner, her estranged husband. His escape last night and the fatal end of the search for Gregory Dean make up a tale more the stuff of TV movies than real life. Norm Uhl has more.
20-year-old Gregory Dean was killed when he lost control of the stolen car he was driving during a high-speed chase. Police say he died instantly, thrown from the vehicle into a church parking lot. His estranged wife, Lene Dean, is safe. Dean abducted her on Monday following a jailbreak. He had sent her letters threatening her life for planning to divorce him. He also claimed she aborted his baby. Lene Dean got away from him overnight when sheriff's deputies spotted the pair on foot in a Montgomery County subdivision. But police say Dean eluded them. He apparently broke into Montgomery High School overnight and in the morning abducted a 16-year-old student at knife point. He forced the boy to drive to the Rolling Forest subdivision.
At that point, he tied the young man up that he had abducted. Soon he got loose and walked out to the road and got in contact with us.
In addition to escape, 2 abductions, and 3 cases of auto theft, the Montgomery County Sheriff says he raped his estranged wife in a Houston motel room and committed a burglary. But rather than go back to prison for a third time, Dean made a final escape from the law. In Montgomery County, Norm Uhl, 11 News.
Police are searching tonight for two brothers accused of molesting and sexually assaulting 6 relatives, all children. They are members of a family that allegedly had been abusing the children for years. Today, Juan Corona Sr. and 3 sons, Arturo, Juan Jr., and Ricardo, were charged with several counts of child sexual abuse. The abuse surfaced in June after the children, ages 6 to 15, told authorities what was taking place. The youngster's mother had asked her father and brothers to care for the children after she was investigated for neglecting them. 2 teenagers are in critical condition tonight at Herman Hospital after they were injured in a car wreck. They were on their way to church when the car collided with an 18-wheeler on the I-45 feeder road at Gulf Bank. The car smashed through a plate glass window of a nearby business. 3 other youngsters in the car were also hurt. They were all members of the Gospel Assembly Church. Well, New York has seen it all today. Summitry, then sightseeing, and speeches. A major foreign policy announcement, a 10% reduction in the Soviet Army. The summit on the Hudson has now come to an end. It has been a day the Secretary of State says gave everybody something to be happy about.
Well, I don't know whether you want to say that's the end of the Cold War or not, but it's different, a lot different, and from my taste, a lot better.
And there is more tonight. Gorbachev went back to the United Nations for a reception. Harold Dow has the story.
Mikhail Gorbachev ended his first full day in New York where he began it, at the United Nations. This morning, he stunned the world body by announcing dramatic cuts in the Soviet military machine.
Today, I can report to you that the Soviet Union has taken a decision to reduce its armed forces. Within the next 2 years, their numerical strength will be reduced by 500,000 men. The numbers of conventional armaments will also be substantially reduced. This will be done unilaterally.
The cuts represent about 10% of Russia's 5 million-man armed force and a major shift in Soviet defense policy. But Gorbachev was quick to reassure his Warsaw Pact allies.
We shall maintain our country's defense capability at a level of reasonable and reliable sufficiency so that no one might be tempted to encroach on the security of the USSR and our allies.
The Soviet leaders sat down to discuss the troop and arms reductions with President Reagan and President-elect George Bush over lunch on Governor's Island. Mr. Reagan and Mr. Bush both seemed pleased by the mini summit in New York Harbor. Tonight in Washington, President Reagan praised Gorbachev's peace initiative.
I can only say that if it's carried out speedily and in full, history will regard it as important, significant.
Gorbachev and his wife Raisa spent the late afternoon doing what other tourists do in New York, seeing the sights, the towering World Trade Center, then a quick spin through Times Square. On tap tomorrow, a visit to a Soviet exposition, a look at Central Park and the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The Gorbachevs leave for Cuba on Friday. Harold Dow, CBS News, New York.
And Soviet TV says the worst earthquake in 80 years has shaken Armenia and northern Turkey, leaving thousands homeless. The Soviet news agency TASS says an undetermined number of people have been killed and injured. Black South African leader Nelson Mandela has been moved from a hospital to a prison farm. Authorities say he is in a private house on the prison farm near Cape Town. The 70-year-old Mandela is recovering from tuberculosis. Mandela is serving a life sentence for plotting a sabotage campaign against the white-controlled government. NASA says tonight it will set up a special team to investigate what caused damage to heat shield tiles on the space shuttle Atlantis. The tiles had numerous gouges, particularly on the right side. At least one belly is missing. Engineers believe that damage came during liftoff or solid rocket booster separation. NASA says as many as 175 tiles will have to be replaced before Atlantis flies again in April. That's more than double the amount replaced after Discovery's flight last September. Houston baseball fans are reeling. Nolan Ryan will not end his career in Houston pitching for the Astros. He has made a deal with the other Texas baseball team, the Rangers. It is a 2-year agreement that could pay the pitcher from Alvin about $3 million. That ends a bidding war that saw the Astros as the consistent low bidder. If Nielsen has been keeping abreast of this story, he'll have much more on the Ryan story a little bit later in this newscast. Ann Richards hits gold as she brings her unofficial bid to sit in the governor's chair to Houston this evening. We'll have that story. Complaints about the pet police and a demand for a resignation. And Dr. Neil Frank's forecast, all as 11 News continues.
Walgreens has been helping bring holiday magic to American families for over 4 generations. Isn't it nice having an easy-to-shop Walgreens drugstore nearby?
Don't forget to get your Energizers at Walgreens. The AA 6-pack, buy 4, get 2 free. The 9-volt 2-pack, buy 1, get 1 free. Now at Walgreens.
In all of Europe, on all occasions, Mon Cherie has become the most popular, most treasured brand of fine milk chocolate.
Food costs can run wild, but not at Kroger.
U.S. Choice boneless beef shoulder roast, $1.29 a pound. Imperial Sugar, 5-pound bag, $1.33. Limit 1 per person with $10 purchase or more.
We're cutting your costs at Kroger. It's an endless pursuit.
It's expensive to keep an all-electric house warm these days.
Achoo!
Gesundheit.
With my electric heat pump, I never feel really warm, and I need a backup heat source.
I just got a new efficient gas furnace. See? It saves money and keeps me cozy in every room.
Gee, if I get one of those, I won't be so cold.
And I wouldn't eat up so much money.
With an efficient gas heating system, the average family can save hundreds of dollars a year on home heating costs. Natural gas. Energy for a new age.
I think Mr. Scrooge may be out of control since he found out the holiday meal deal from Kentucky Fried Chicken is only $9.99.
What a deal.
We've been eating a lot of meat.